Luna loved the beach. She loved the sound of the waves, the feel of the sand between her toes, and the smell of salty air. Her little brother Milo loved it too, but for a different reason. "Race you to the biggest shell," Milo shouted, already running. Luna laughed and ran after him. The two of them spent every summer weekend by the ocean with their parents. They built sandcastles, chased crabs, and collected colorful shells. That day, the sky was bright blue, and the waves were calm. Seagulls flew overhead, and people were flying kites and splashing in the water. Luna and Milo wandered near some big rocks at the edge of the beach, where not many people went. "I bet we'll find a really cool shell over here," Luna said, carefully stepping between the tide pools. Milo poked his stick into the wet sand. "Maybe a shiny one." Suddenly, Luna saw something half buried near the base of a rock. "Hey, what's that?" She knelt down and brushed away the sand. There, glowing softly, was a seashell bigger than any they had ever seen. It shimmered with pink, green, and gold, and it was shaped like a spiral. "Whoa," said Milo, his eyes wide. "It's glowing." "It looks magical," Luna whispered. She picked it up gently. The shell felt warm in her hand. Then something strange happened. A soft voice echoed from the shell. It was gentle and slow, like a song on the wind. "Make a wish," the voice whispered, "and it will come true." Luna and Milo stared at each other. "Did you hear that?" Milo asked. "I think so," Luna said, her eyes wide. "Did the shell talk?" They looked around, but no one else was nearby. The beach was quiet except for the waves. "Should we try it?" Milo asked. Luna hesitated. "Just a small wish, to see if it works." Milo nodded. "I wish for..." He looked around, then grinned. "A big chocolate ice cream, with sprinkles." Nothing happened at first. Then, with a soft pop, a bowl of chocolate ice cream appeared in the sand between them. Sprinkles sparkled on top. It was cold, real, and delicious looking. Milo gasped. "It worked!" Luna stared. This is incredible!" They both laughed, amazed and excited. "This shell is magic," Milo said. "And we found it," Luna whispered. Neither of them noticed how the wind had suddenly stopped, or how the waves seemed to wait, as if the ocean itself was watching. Luna and Milo sat cross-legged in the warm sand, staring at the magical bowl of chocolate ice cream in front of them. Milo licked his lips. "Can I eat it?" Luna nodded slowly. "I guess so. It's your wish." Milo scooped a big bite into his mouth. It's perfect," he said, with sprinkles stuck to his smile. Luna picked up the shell again. It still shimmered and felt warm in her hands. "Should we make another wish?" she asked. Milo's eyes sparkled. "You try." Luna looked up at the sky and thought for a moment. "Okay. I wish for a tiny dolphin that can live in our bathtub." They both held their breath. Pop! A little splash came from behind them. They turned around to see a small, glowing water bubble floating in the air. Inside it was the tiniest dolphin they had ever seen. It chirped happily and flipped in a circle before the bubble gently settled onto the sand. "Hello there," Luna said in delight. The dolphin squeaked and wagged its tail. "This is amazing," Milo said. "We can wish for anything." They sat in silence for a moment, holding the shell between them. "What should we wish for next?" Milo asked. Luna smiled. "Something fun but small, just to be safe." She held the shell and said, "I wish for a trampoline in our backyard." Pop! Even from the beach, they could see something appear over the hill near their house, a huge, colorful trampoline. Milo jumped up and down. "This is the best day ever!" They laughed and cheered. For the next hour, they made silly wishes. Rainbow-colored socks, a sandwich that never ran out of peanut butter, a backpack that sang songs, and a hat that rained bubbles. Each wish appeared like magic right on the sand, glowing and fun. But then the wind began to blow a little stronger. Clouds drifted across the sky. Luna looked up. "It's getting late. We should go home." Milo hugged the shell to his chest. "Do you think we should tell Mom and Dad?" Luna thought for a moment. "Not yet. Let's keep it our secret, at least for now." As they walked back toward their house with their arms full of magical things, they didn't notice that the tiny dolphin was watching them from inside its floating bubble, blinking slowly. And deep under the waves, something else blinked too. Luna and Milo raced into their house, arms full of magical objects. Luna had the glowing shell in her backpack, carefully wrapped in a towel. Milo carried the tiny bubble with the dolphin, which floated beside him like a balloon. "Quick, before Mom sees us!" Milo whispered. Their parents were in the kitchen, cooking dinner. The smell of spaghetti filled the house. "Upstairs!" Luna said. They tiptoed through the hallway and climbed the stairs as quietly as possible. Once inside Luna's room, they closed the door and locked it. Luna opened her backpack and pulled out the seashell. It still shimmered gently in the soft evening light. Milo set the floating bubble gently in a large bowl of water. The dolphin inside gave a happy squeak and splashed playfully. "I can't believe this is real," Milo whispered. "Me neither," Luna said, staring at the shell. They sat together on the floor. "Okay," Luna said. "Let's think. We can't make a million wishes all at once. We need a plan." Milo nodded. "Yeah, like, only 3 wishes a day?" "Good idea," Luna said. "And only things that won't make Mom and Dad suspicious." "Like a talking couch?" Milo asked. Luna raised an eyebrow. "That might be a little too obvious." They giggled. Just then, there was a soft knock at the door. "Kids?" came their mom's voice. "Dinner's ready." Luna quickly hid the shell back in her backpack. Milo covered the bowl with a towel. "Coming!" they both called. At dinner, their parents didn't notice anything strange. Milo wiggled with excitement in his chair. Luna tried to act normal. Afterward, when they were brushing their teeth, Milo leaned over and whispered, "What should we wish for tomorrow?" Luna thought for a moment. "Let's wait and see. If we wish for too much, something might go wrong." That night, Luna couldn't sleep. She turned over and looked at the glowing shape of her backpack. The seashell was still inside, quiet and warm. She got up and tiptoed across her room. She opened her backpack and took it out. It sparkled softly in her hands. Luna held it close and whispered, "Thank you for the wishes." The shell glowed a little brighter, as if it had heard her. Then, she noticed something strange. On the back of the shell, tiny golden letters had appeared. They weren't there before. Luna leaned closer and read them aloud. "Wishes bring joy, but joy must be shared." Luna blinked. What did that mean? She looked out the window at the quiet sky. Tomorrow, she decided, she would find out. The next morning, Luna woke up early. Sunlight poured through the window, painting golden stripes across her blanket. She sat up and looked at the seashell on her desk. It shimmered quietly, like it had been waiting. She remembered the glowing message from last night. Wishes bring joy, but joy must be shared. Luna rubbed her eyes. "Shared?" she whispered. Just then, Milo burst into the room, still in his pajamas. "Luna, I had the best idea. Let's wish for a room made of candy." Luna blinked. "A candy room?" He nodded, grinning. "With licorice walls, marshmallow beds, and a chocolate door?" Luna giggled. "That sounds sticky." Milo plopped onto her bed. "Come on, just one more fun wish?" Luna looked at the shell, then back at her little brother. "Okay," she said slowly. "After this, I want to try something different." Milo agreed. Luna held the shell and said, I wish for a small candy room we can visit, but only for 1 hour. Pop! Downstairs, the closet door near the stairs creaked open, and a sweet scent floated out like bubblegum and hot fudge. They ran to it, opened the door, and gasped. Inside was a magical room, glowing with color. The floor was gumdrops. The walls were made of peppermint bricks. Cotton candy clouds floated near the ceiling. Milo squealed with delight. "This is the best wish yet!" They jumped on marshmallow beanbags, licked the chocolate windowsills, and slid down a caramel slide. But after a few minutes, Luna sat quietly on a jelly bench, looking thoughtful. "What's wrong?" Milo asked with sticky fingers. "I've been thinking," Luna said. "We've made all these wishes, but only for us." Milo tilted his head. "Well, yeah, it's our shell. But what if we wish for something that helps someone else?" Luna asked. "Like what?" Luna thought. "Remember Mr. Jenkins? The man who lives down the road? His dog ran away last week, and he still hasn't found her." Milo nodded slowly. "You want to help him?" Luna smiled. "Let's try." They left the candy room, which gently disappeared behind them, and went back upstairs. Luna held the shell. "I wish Mr. Jenkins would find his dog today." The shell glowed softly, but there was no pop, no candy, no trampoline, just a warm light. Later that afternoon, while riding their bikes, they saw Mr. Jenkins in his front yard laughing and hugging his little dog, who had just wandered home. "She just showed up," he told them. "Like magic." Luna and Milo exchanged wide-eyed smiles. Back in her room, Luna looked at the shell again. More golden letters appeared. Kindness makes the magic stronger. Luna felt something glow inside her chest, a kind of joy that no candy wall could give. After dinner that night, Luna sat by her bedroom window, holding the seashell in her lap. The sky outside was deep blue, with stars beginning to twinkle. The shell glowed softly, as if it liked the quiet. Milo came in with a notebook and a pencil. "What's that for?" Luna asked. He grinned. "I had an idea. What if we start a wish book?" "A wish book?" "Yeah," Milo said, sitting beside her. "We write down every wish we make, so we don't forget them. And maybe we can draw pictures too." Luna smiled. "That's actually really smart." Milo puffed up proudly. "I know." They opened the notebook and began to write. Wishes we made. Chocolate ice cream with sprinkles. Tiny dolphin. Lives in a bubble. Backyard trampoline. Bubble hat. Sandwich that never ends. Singing backpack. Magical candy room. Mr. Jenkins finds his dog. Milo doodled little stars next to each one. Then Luna added a new section. Wish ideas for others. A warm coat for the school janitor. A birthday cake for our neighbor who lives alone. A new bike for Leo, his was stolen. A sunny day for Grandma's garden. Milo looked at the list. "I like these," he said quietly. Luna hugged him. "You're the best little brother." He grinned. "I know." The next day after school, they decided to try one of their new ideas. Luna held the shell and whispered, "I wish Mr. Thomas, our school janitor, had a warm new coat." The shell glowed gently in her hand. The next morning at school, Mr. Thomas walked in wearing a puffy, bright blue coat. "Look at this," he said with a smile. "Someone left it on my desk with a note that said, 'Just because you take care of everyone else.'" Luna and Milo high-fived quietly in the hallway. Back home, they added the new wish to the book. Then Milo drew a happy face next to it. Suddenly, the shell shimmered brighter than before, and a tiny image appeared on its smooth surface. It showed all the people they'd helped, smiling. Luna touched it gently. The shell's voice echoed softly again. "The more good you do, the more good you'll find." Luna and Milo sat in silence for a moment. "I think this shell is more than just magic," Luna whispered. "It's trying to teach us something." Milo nodded. Yeah, and I kinda like it. Then he grinned. But can we still wish for bubble hats sometimes? Luna laughed. Maybe on weekends. It was Saturday morning, and the sun was shining brightly through the kitchen window. Luna and Milo sat at the table, eating waffles with syrup and strawberries. Their wish book sat beside them, filled with doodles, notes, and sparkles Milo had added with glitter glue. So, Milo said with a mouthful of waffle, do we help someone again today? Luna smiled. I think we should. Milo tapped his pencil on the table. What about Leo's bike? Remember? Someone took it from the school rack. Luna nodded. Good idea. After breakfast, they went to Luna's room and gently pulled the shell out of its soft pouch. It shimmered like sunlight on water. Luna held it carefully and said, I wish our friend Leo had a new bike, one that he'll love. The shell glowed for a long moment. Then, pop, outside, by the curb in front of their house, stood a brand new bike. It was shiny red with silver stripes, and it even had a little bell. It worked, Milo shouted. They quickly wheeled the bike down the block and parked it in front of Leo's house with a note. For the best race car sound maker in the school, from a secret friend. That afternoon, they watched from across the street as Leo ran outside, saw the bike, and cheered. His mom came out too, and they both looked around, smiling. Best wish ever, Milo said, grinning. But later that evening, something happened. Luna and Milo were playing a board game when the shell began to glow all by itself. They looked at each other. Luna picked it up. On the back, a new line of golden letters had appeared. Be careful, not every wish brings happiness. They stared at the message. What does that mean? Milo asked. I don't know, Luna said slowly. That night, Milo had a dream. In it, the shell was floating in the air, glowing too brightly. Wishes popped around the room too fast. Too many. Ice cream flooded the floors. Trampolines bounced into the walls, and dolphins swam through the ceiling. Milo woke up with a gasp. The next morning, he looked worried. Luna, what if we wished for something too big? Luna nodded. Maybe we need to slow down. But Milo bit his lip. Or one last big wish before we stop? Luna hesitated. Milo leaned in. What if we just wished for our house to be a little bit bigger? A fun surprise for Mom and Dad? Luna slowly picked up the shell. A little bigger, she said. Just a little. She held the shell and whispered, I wish our house was big and special, with fun rooms and cool surprises, but still felt like home. The shell glowed. And then, the ground rumbled. Luna and Milo rushed to the window. Their small, cozy house was slowly rising off the ground, floating. A spiral staircase uncurled around it, and sparkling windows appeared all over the walls. It grew towers, slides, and even a garden on the roof. Uh-oh, Milo whispered. Their house had become a floating castle in the clouds. It was amazing. It was magical, but it was definitely not small. And that was the beginning of their biggest adventure yet. Luna and Milo stood frozen at the window, eyes wide, mouths open. Their house had transformed into a castle, not a pretend one made of blankets and chairs, but a real one, floating gently in the sky. The clouds drifted beneath their feet. A golden spiral staircase wrapped around the outside like a ribbon. Crystal windows sparkled in the sunlight, and flags fluttered from tall towers on the roof. It looks like a dream, Milo whispered. It looks like trouble, Luna said softly. The front door opened by itself with a little ding. They stepped out into a hallway that had changed overnight. Their once familiar house was now full of magical rooms. Look, Milo shouted, running to a room on the left. It was a giant indoor playground, with slides made of stardust and a trampoline that bounced so high it nearly touched the ceiling. Come see this, Luna called from another room. She stood inside a library, but not just any library. Books floated gently in the air, glowing softly. Some even whispered stories as they drifted past. "This is amazing," Luna said, her voice full of wonder. But something felt strange. Every time they turned a corner, a new magical room appeared. A room filled with singing birds, a hallway where paintings moved, even a room where pancakes cooked themselves. "Okay," Luna said, holding up her hands. "This is getting out of control. I don't think I want to leave," Milo said, bouncing on the stardust trampoline. Luna frowned. "But what about Mom and Dad? School? Our friends?" Milo stopped. "Oh, right." Suddenly, a low hum filled the air. The floor gently tilted. Luna?" They ran to the window. The castle was rising higher above the treetops, past the clouds. The town below became smaller and smaller. And then, poof! Everything outside disappeared into a swirl of mist. No streets, no houses, no sky. Just glowing fog all around them. "We're not in the same place anymore," Luna whispered. Milo clutched her hand. "What do we do?" Luna pulled out the seashell. It was glowing brighter than ever, too bright. Almost pulsing. She turned it in her hands. More golden words shimmered across the back. Even good wishes must know their limits. She stared at the message. "I think we broke the rules," she said. Milo swallowed. "Can we fix it?" Luna nodded slowly. "We have to try." But as she held the shell, its glow began to flicker, then fade, and finally stop. "No!" Milo shouted. "What's happening?" The shell was now dim and quiet. No voice, no warmth, just stillness. Luna looked around at the magical castle. "It gave us everything," she said softly. "But we didn't listen." Milo looked up. "So what do we do now?" Luna took a deep breath. "We find a way home. The hard way." Luna placed the seashell carefully back into her backpack. It no longer glowed or hummed. It just sat there silent and still. Milo stood beside her, fidgeting with the straps of his shirt. "What if we're stuck here forever?" "We're not," Luna said firmly, though her voice shook just a little. "We made the wish, so there has to be a way to undo it." They walked down the long hallway of the floating castle, passing rooms that looked more magical than ever but now felt less exciting and more overwhelming. They passed a door that hadn't been there before. It was plain. No glitter, no floating lights, no singing pancakes. Just a wooden door with a small carving of a seashell in the middle. Luna paused. "Did you see this before?" Milo shook his head. "Nope. And I've been up and down this hall like 5 times. Luna reached for the handle. The moment she touched it, the door creaked open slowly. Inside was a small room, quiet and simple. No magic, no sparkles. Just a single table with a book on it. Luna and Milo stepped inside. The book looked old but clean. Its cover deep blue with gold letters that read, "The Book of Wishes Made and Unmade." Luna opened it carefully. Inside, the pages were filled with neat handwriting. Their wishes were all there, every single one. Ice cream, dolphin, trampoline, candy room, floating castle. Even the wishes for other people. It's keeping track of everything we did," Milo whispered. Luna flipped to the last page. It was blank, except for one sentence in the center. "To undo a wish, you must understand why it went too far." They stared at it. Milo scratched his head. "What does that even mean?" "I think," Luna said slowly, "we have to figure out why this wish, the big one, was too much." They sat down at the table, and Luna opened their own wish book. She compared it to the pages in the magic book. All our little wishes. They made us laugh, and they helped others. "But the castle," Milo said, "was kinda just for us." Luna nodded. "It was too big, too fast, We didn't think about how it would affect everything else. Milo looked around the simple room. So what now? Suddenly, the magic book shimmered. More words appeared beneath the sentence. You must make one final wish together. Luna reached into her backpack and took out the shell. It flickered. Just a tiny light, not bright, but not gone. Milo touched it, too. Together, they whispered, we wish to go home just the way it was. And we promise to never take magic for granted again. The seashell warmed in their hands. A soft golden glow spread across the room. The table faded. The walls faded. The air around them swirled with wind and stars. Then, everything went still. And they were gone. Luna blinked. She was lying on her bedroom floor. Sunlight peeked through her curtains, and everything looked normal. Her bookshelf, her backpack, her posters on the wall, all exactly where they had been before the castle. No floating towers, no magic slides, just home. Milo sat up beside her, rubbing his eyes. Did we just... Luna nodded. We're back. They looked around. Their house was the same size. The walls were the same color. The floors weren't made of glitter. The trampoline was gone. No candy room, no flying dolphins, just their quiet, cozy home. Milo stood and ran to the window. The sky is normal, he called, and we're on the ground again. No clouds under the house. Luna opened her backpack and carefully pulled out the seashell. It didn't glow anymore, but it didn't feel cold either. It sat gently in her hands, still and calm, like it was resting. We did it, Luna whispered. They sat quietly for a while, both a little overwhelmed. Then Milo said, I kinda miss the candy room. Luna smiled. Me too, but I think I like this better. Me too, she agreed. They brought the seashell downstairs and placed it on the bookshelf, between their favorite adventure books. After lunch, they went outside and played catch in the yard. No magic powers, no flying castles, just sun, grass, and the sound of laughter. Later that day, they noticed something strange, but in a good way. Mr. Jenkins was planting flowers with his dog beside him. Leo was riding his shiny red bike up and down the street, waving at them. The school janitor, Mr. Thomas, passed by on his way home, wearing his bright blue coat and humming a happy tune. The kind wishes had remained. Even though their own magical adventure was over, the good they had done stayed in the world, and that made Luna's heart feel warm. That night, before bed, Luna looked at the seashell again. A small message had appeared, carved softly into the bottom. The best magic is the kind you give away. She smiled, closed her eyes, and fell asleep with the shell by her side. And even though she didn't make any more wishes that day, her dreams were full of glowing stars, bubble hats, dancing dolphins, and the sweet feeling of home. The next morning, Luna woke up to the sound of birds singing outside her window. The seashell still sat quietly on her shelf, nestled between two adventure books. It didn't glow, and it didn't speak, but it didn't need to. Milo came into her room holding their wish book. It's weird, he said, sitting at the edge of her bed. But I kinda miss it. Luna yawned and stretched. Miss what? The magic, he said. The surprises, the pop, and the sparkle. She nodded. Yeah, but I think we still have magic, just a different kind now. Milo looked confused. Like what? Luna smiled. Like when you make someone smile, or help out without being asked, or come up with a cool idea that makes someone's day better. Milo opened the wish book and looked at their list. Some wishes had little stars next to them. Others had hearts or smiley faces. But all of them told a story. I think we can still use this, Luna said, tapping the book. Just not to make wishes, but to make plans. Plans? Milo asked. Yeah, we can still help people. Just Without the shell. Milo thought for a second. Then his face lit up. Like a real mission. Luna grinned. Exactly. They spent the rest of the morning turning the wish book into the help book. On the front cover, they added a new title in big, colorful letters. The Kindness Crew. Inside, they made a new list. Our new magic missions. Leave cookies on Grandma's porch. Draw cheerful chalk art on the sidewalk. Clean up the park playground. Write a letter to someone who needs cheering up. Invite a new kid at school to play. By the afternoon, they were already working on their first mission. They baked a batch of warm cookies with their mom's help, wrapped them in a napkin with a hand-drawn smiley face, and snuck over to Grandma's porch. They left the cookies on the step, rang the doorbell, and ran away giggling. From behind a tree, they peeked as Grandma opened the door, saw the cookies, and smiled so big that her glasses almost slipped off. She looks so happy, Milo whispered. That's real magic, Luna said. That evening, the seashell shimmered ever so softly on the shelf. Not glowing, just smiling. Or maybe, just maybe. The glow wasn't coming from the shell at all, but from the kids who had learned that magic doesn't always come from wishes. Sometimes, it comes from the heart. A few quiet days passed. Luna and Milo kept working on their kindness crew list. They helped rake leaves for their neighbor, made silly cards for kids at the hospital, and even donated some of their toys to a local center. Each time, they felt that familiar warm feeling inside, like invisible sparkles lighting up in their chest. One rainy afternoon, Luna sat in her room drawing in the help book. She sketched herself and Milo in superhero capes made of blankets, helping people all around town. The seashell rested on her shelf, quiet and still, as always. But just as she finished shading the clouds in her drawing, the shell flickered. Just a little, a soft pulse of warm golden light. Luna blinked. She stepped over to the shelf and picked it up. Are you awake again? She whispered. The shell stayed silent, but as she held it in her hands, it suddenly felt warm and familiar. Not magical, but friendly, like a memory that smiled back. Then she heard it, very faint, like wind in a bottle, a whisper. Thank you. Luna's heart skipped. Milo, she called. He came running, holding 2 paper towel swords. Did you wish for something? He asked. No, Luna said. I think the shell just spoke. Milo stared. But it's been quiet for days. I know, she said, still holding it gently. They sat down on the floor and stared at it together. I don't think it wants to give out wishes anymore, Luna said. But I think maybe it's watching, listening. Do you think it's happy with us? Milo asked. Luna smiled. I do. Then the shell shimmered once more, and tiny golden letters appeared on its surface. Your hearts now carry the magic. Milo squinted. Does that mean we are the magic now? Luna laughed. Maybe it means we always were. We just needed a seashell to help us believe it. The rain tapped softly on the window. The room felt full, not with stuff, not with glitter, but with something deeper. Something like purpose. I think it's time we do something big, Milo said. Luna looked at him. Like what? He held up the help book. A kindness day. For the whole neighborhood. Luna grinned. Let's plan it. They began writing and drawing like crazy ideas flying across the page. A cleanup station, a card-making booth, free lemonade, music, dancing, a thank you board where everyone could write kind things about each other. By the end of the afternoon, they had a full plan. And the seashell? It pulsed softly again, not because it was needed, but because it was proud. The sun rose early the next Saturday, casting a golden glow across the neighborhood. The air was warm, the sky was clear, and Luna and Milo were already awake, buzzing with excitement. Today was Kindness Day. With help from their parents and a few neighbors, they'd spent the entire week preparing. They made colorful signs, decorated boxes for cards and donations, and even made matching t-shirts with the words Kindness Crew painted across the front. Luna wore hers proudly, with her hair in 2 buns and a marker tucked behind her ear. Milo wore his like a superhero cape, tied around his shoulders. By 9 a.m., their front yard had transformed into a kindness fair. There was a lemonade stand with a sign that said, "Free sips and big smiles." A table held paper, crayons, and stickers for kids to make cheerful cards for seniors and hospital patients. Another booth was stacked with toys and books to give away, all in great condition and wrapped with bright bows. And right in the middle stood a large board with the words, "Say something kind." People were invited to write a kind message about someone they knew. Little by little, the board filled with words like, "Mrs. Green makes the best cookies." "Leo helped me when I fell off my bike." "The school janitor always smiles at us." Neighbors came. Families stopped by. Even people who didn't know each other started talking and laughing. Luna saw a little girl give her favorite teddy bear to a boy who didn't have one. Milo watched 2 kids from different schools high-five after working together to build a giant chalk rainbow on the sidewalk. "This is amazing," Luna whispered. "I feel like the shell is smiling," Milo said with a grin. They glanced at the magical seashell, safely tucked into a display box near the card table. It didn't glow or shimmer, but somehow, it felt alive again, quietly proud. In the afternoon, Grandma brought cupcakes, and Mr. Jenkins gave out tiny seed packets that said, "Grow kindness." Even Leo, riding his new red bike, led a kindness parade up and down the street, with other kids following behind holding balloons and singing silly songs. By the end of the day, everyone was tired, but in the best way. As the sun set, Luna and Milo sat on the grass, watching people wave goodbye and smiling at the sea of colorful chalk drawings covering the sidewalk. "Best wish ever," Milo said softly. Luna nodded. "And we didn't even need magic this time." The seashell sat between them on the grass. For just a moment, it shimmered a soft, warm glow. Then it rested, like it was finally home, too. The next morning, everything was calm. The yard was still sprinkled with leftover chalk hearts and footprints. The Kindness Crew sign had been left leaning on the porch, fluttering slightly in the breeze. The seashell sat quietly in its place on Luna's bookshelf, glowing faintly now and then like it was breathing. Luna was writing in the help book when Milo peeked into her room. "Want to go to the beach?" he asked. "Just us?" She smiled. "Yeah, let's see if our old rock is still there." They packed snacks, towels, and just in case the seashell. The beach was cool and misty that morning. A light fog curled along the water's edge, softening the sky and blurring the faraway boats. They reached the tide pools and the big rock, where they had first found the seashell. Everything looked the same, and yet different. "I still can't believe that day," Milo said, sitting on the rock. "Remember when the ice cream just poofed into the sand?" Luna laughed. "And the tiny dolphin in a bubble?" They were quiet for a moment, just listening to the waves. Then Luna pulled the shell from her bag and held it gently. It didn't shine. It didn't hum. But the moment she touched it, the fog in front of them shifted. Out of the mist came a small figure. Not human, not quite animal. More like a shape made of moving light. It looked like it was made from ocean mist and sparkles, with soft glowing eyes. Luna and Milo stood up slowly. The creature gave a gentle nod. Then, it spoke, not out loud, but inside their minds. Its voice was calm and ancient, like waves that had been washing the shore forever. "You used the gift well. You learned. You grew," Milo whispered. "Who are you?" The creature's shape shimmered, I am the keeper of small magic. The seashell was a test, not of power, but of heart. Luna held the shell closer. You made mistakes, the voice said. But you also chose kindness again and again. That is real magic. The seashell glowed softly, not bright, but steady. It is time, the voice continued, to return the shell, so others may find it when they are ready. Luna's eyes widened. We have to give it back? The figure nodded slowly. Milo looked sad, but then he took a deep breath and smiled. It helped us. Maybe it can help someone else too. Together, they walked to the edge of the tide pool. Luna held the shell one last time. Thank you, she whispered. Then, gently, she placed it into the water. It shimmered once, just once, and slowly sank beneath the surface, disappearing into the soft blue waves. The mist creature gave a final nod and vanished with the wind. Luna and Milo sat quietly by the tide pool, watching the last ripples fade where the seashell had vanished beneath the water. The mist had lifted. The sun peeked through the clouds, casting soft golden light on the shore. The ocean shimmered gently, calm and endless. I thought I'd feel sad, Milo said softly. But I don't. Me neither, Luna replied. It feels right, like the shell was never just ours. They skipped stones for a while, letting the silence wrap around them like a cozy blanket. Nearby, a seagull swooped and called out before soaring into the open sky. I wonder where the shell will go next, Milo said. Maybe another kid will find it, Luna said. One who needs it. They headed home with sand between their toes and salty wind in their hair. No magical objects, no glowing trails, just the memory of something special, tucked deep inside. At home, they placed their help book back on the desk and looked at the new section they had started. Good deeds with no wishes. They added today's entry. We returned the shell. We're ready to make our own magic now. Later that evening, Mom peeked into Luna's room. I heard about your kindness day, she said, smiling. You two really made something special. People are still talking about it. Luna and Milo beamed. You don't need anything more than heart and teamwork, Mom added, ruffling Milo's hair. After she left, Luna turned to her brother. Ready for our next mission? Milo grinned. You know it. He opened the help book to a fresh page. In big, bright letters they wrote, Kindness Crew, Season 2. Plant flowers at the park. Organize a surprise party for the crossing guard. Leave happy notes in library books. Teach our cousin to ride a bike. Make someone laugh every single day. Suddenly, the wind rustled the curtains and something tiny rolled across the floor. It was a smooth, round pebble from the beach. Milo picked it up. There, barely visible, was a shimmer in the shape of a tiny seashell. They looked at each other. No one said anything. They just smiled. And in that smile was all the magic they'd ever need. Days turned into weeks. The air became crisper. Leaves began to fall, painting the sidewalks in red, orange, and gold. School was back in full swing, but Luna and Milo kept their kindness crew alive. Every week, they picked a new mission from their help book. They brought warm socks to the shelter on a chilly morning. They helped a new student find her classroom and made her feel welcome. They even baked muffins, with a little help from Dad, and handed them out at the park with tiny notes that read, You matter. The seashell never returned, but neither of them expected it to, because the magic wasn't in the seashell anymore. It was in them. One afternoon, Luna stood at the window, watching the wind swirl the leaves into dancing circles. Milo sat behind her at the table, carefully gluing kindness coupons into a handmade book they planned to leave on a neighbor's doorstep. Do you think the shell will ever come back? Milo asked. Luna thought for a moment. Maybe. Would you want it to? She smiled. Only if we really needed it. But now, I think we're okay on our own. He nodded, satisfied. Then he looked up at her. Do you think someone else found it? Luna's eyes sparkled. I hope so. Somewhere out there. Maybe right now. Someone is holding it and making their very first wish. They sat quietly for a while, imagining who that someone might be. A kid who feels lonely. A girl who wants to help her village. A boy who dreams of building something amazing. A pair of siblings just like them. As the sun began to set, Milo opened the help book again and added one last message at the end. We don't need magic to make things better. We just need each other. That night, as Luna drifted off to sleep, a soft breeze passed through her open window. It swirled gently around the room, rustling pages, tickling the curtains, and finally reaching the tiny beach pebble on her nightstand. It glowed for just a moment, then it was still again. And far away, under the surface of a quiet tide pool, the seashell waited, resting, until it was needed once more. The end.